Hey everyone, Blockchain Bernie here. Let's talk about Solana killers in this episode. And honestly, if you Google for Solana killers, you get a lot of results that just use that term Solana killer as kind of a clickbait. And then they show you a lot of blockchain initiatives and tokens and stuff that are not really, they just cannot be considered Solana killers because they're in a different space and doing different stuff. And I don't know, the web is so full of misleading information. So let's break it down in this little video so that you know what could really be considered a potential Solana killer and where they are and why they are and all these kind of stuff. So I've done all the background research so that you don't have to do it. And if you like content like this, don't forget to smash that like button for me. Subscribe to my channel so that you won't miss out on future content, because there's a lot of stuff cooking here at Xandeum. We're building the scalable storage layer for the Solana chain. Super excited about, all the things that are coming up short term. So go to Xandeum.com. And in the top right corner, subscribe to everything we have to offer, which is our email list, which is super important. Get on that email list because there are things cooking that you don't want to miss out on. So you need to get on that email list, and also subscribe to us on X, follow us on X, and join our Discord community as well. It's a super interactive medium. All right, so these Solana killers, we have a few categories there, right? One of the categories is the move chains, right? So that happened a few years ago, like 2 years ago or so, when Aptos and Sui launched, right? So with Aptos and Sui, they're based off of the move language. They took a lot of features from the Solana chain. But let me tell you this, you read a lot on the internet that, transactions per second is not everything and XYZ, right? Here's the story, right? The blockchain will compete against centralized servers, right? And that's a logical thing. If we as blockchain guys cannot compete against developing apps on centralized servers, as is the default in Web 2, we will not get mass adoption. It's as simple as that, right? We need to do a lot of transactions so that the blockchain will become ubiquitous, so that it will be used by everyone. What I'm seeing today is like blockchain and crypto, it's still kind of a niche thing, right? It feels almost like if you get into the details of understanding what crypto is and stuff like that, it feels like the internet in 1992 or 1991 or something like that, right? If I remember the days back then, there were virtually no females on the internet in 1991. If you're female and you were an internet enthusiast in 1991, 1992, leave me that comment down below. I want to get to know you, and I want to interview you on this channel, right? So let's appear, both of us together on this channel. If you are female and you were an internet enthusiast in 1992, I really want to know that. If you know someone that is, also leave that comment here. So, but blockchain technology is right there. It is so, there are so many people that don't know much about it. There are so many people out there that believe the media, right? And the mainstream media is like, they write about, oh, there's another hack, or, the bad guys were using Bitcoin or the blockchain or crypto to do this and that, right? And then everyone thinks like, oh, crypto is bad because the bad guys can use it, right? I'll tell you what, the bad guys have been using cash all along, right? Like when I say cash, I mean these kind of green pieces of paper, right? And does that mean cash is bad, or, it's only for thugs or stuff like that? Of course it doesn't mean that, right? So we still have a long way to go until crypto and crypto payments and Web3 and all of that makes its way into the minds of billions and billions of people. And for that, we need mass adoption. And for that, we need a fast blockchain. We don't need a set of 175 L2s and then leave it for the consumer to figure out which is the best L2 for their use case or stuff like that, right? So that's why scalability is so important. And one thing I love about Solana is it is so clear on why they are faster than the other blockchains out there, because there is that Medium article written by Anatoly Yakovenko. He did a really great job back then, and the post is titled "The 7 Key Innovations of the Solana Blockchain." You can Google that. You can get to that Medium blog post anytime. I'm reading it like, every few months and learning some new stuff every time I read it. But it is clear that this proof of history model that, few people fully understand, right? But it's a replacement for synchronizing clocks between all these validators, and that just makes it faster inherently, right? It's like we don't have to have all this overhead just to agree on a common clock, because we don't really need to know what time is it. We only need to know what event happened before or after other events, right? We only need to know the order, not the correct time, right? We're not a timing institute or anything like that, but we want to know the order of things. That's important for the blockchain, and totally understood that back then, and found a way to engrave the history into the blockchain by chaining hashes, right? And just hash after hash after hash. And if you know this hash, it means it has to be happened after all the other hashes that came before then, because otherwise, how could you know that? So the proof of history is a great thing, and it will, improve scalability of these chains. I don't see that in Aptos and Sui. I see a lot of claims that we can do this and that many transactions and we're faster than Solana. I see exactly why Solana scales just by reading this article with the 7 key innovations. And innovation number 1, the proof of history, is the most important one. So with that said, I don't see Aptos and Sui as Solana killers. They've been out there for 2 years or so, and we're not seeing anything where they could dethrone Solana. Then there's other things that are going on in the EVM world, and those are the parallelized EVM chains, right? So what that means is like they bring parallelization to the Ethereum virtual machine world, right? So parallelization means they can execute transactions in parallel, right? But again, if you look at this blog post, it is so mandatory to read that by Anatoly, the 7 innovations, right? It's not just Solana can execute transactions in parallel, it can also propagate blocks that have been produced in a great way faster manner. It can, it has that parallel runtime that can access all the accounts and stuff like that. So parallelization is built into all layers inside the Solana validator, right? With the EVM, you have parallel execution, but only if you have Ethereum accounts that don't have data dependencies. Obviously, there's also data dependencies on the Solana chain, but they are being handled at a way lower level. So we can really make use of all the bandwidth that leads into a validator, let's say 1 gigabit per second. We can pack this and that many transactions into that stream and then handle it at the same speed, so that the processing is as fast as the data can come in. And that has always been Solana's goal that they've been working on, and it's stated in that Medium post. And Yeah, that's why I don't see the likes of Optimism, of Say, and upcoming Monad. Those are all parallelized EVMs, but they only improve on part of the problem, right? They don't reach the amount of parallelization and speed built into each and every layer of the whole architecture in Solana, and you still do your programming in Solidity, which is not inherently a parallelized language, and all these type of things, right? So we have a lot of inherent advantages of Solana technology compared to the others. So now, what could kill Solana, though, right? And here's my view, right? My vision, my new world is where Web3 can actually challenge Web2, right? Where it's like for every developer that builds a new app for mass adoption, it'll be a no-brainer to build it on Web3. And this new world can only happen if we have scalable storage on the blockchain, because with today's blockchains, including Solana, we cannot store large amounts of data, right? The Solana accounts are great, but they are like the RAM of a computer, like the memory. They're not like the disk of a world computer, right? And you just cannot store a terabyte, an app that you build just cannot store a terabyte of data in the Solana app, right? At least not on chain. And I think that's where the real Solana killers come in. And we here at Xandeum, we're building one of these things. We're building the scalable storage layer for the Solana chain, built on top of the Solana chain. As that means we have the Solana accounts that can scale up to, a few megabytes, maybe a few hundred megabytes or so if you have a lot of money to store it on chain. But if you need real amounts of data, but you want to have it inherently integrated into the developer experience, the developer that builds Solana dApps, then the Xandeum storage layer is the way to go. I believe in that vision stoically, right? So it's going to be a long journey. It's a big shift in paradigm. But I believe in this new world where blockchain is a better choice to build mass apps, is a better choice than Web2, right? That's my vision. And we're going to come to that vision with the Xandeum storage layer. Thanks so much for watching, and catch you guys in the next video.